welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyaso. Tonight, death toll in Adamawa State bombing stands at 32, 40 others receiving treatment in hospitals. United Nations urges President Muhammadu Buhari to prosecute Boko Haram crimes. The military repels a terror attack on Borno, 2 suicide bombers killed. And ex-Saddam Hussein aide Tariq Aziz dies after heart attack.
Business News tonight, as the World Economic Forum on Africa wraps up in Cape Town, participants agreed to map talk with action.
And in sports news, Europe comes alive tomorrow as Italian champions Juventus confront Spanish champions Barcelona in the final of the UEFA Champions League.
We begin tonight in Adamawa State, Nigeria's restive northeast region, where the state governor, Umaru Jibrila, has promised to alter the security network in the state in order to ensure the safety of life and property in that area. The governor's resolve is coming a day after a deadly suicide bombing left over 30 people dead. Well, this will be the first time that Yola, the capital of Adamawa State, is suffering an attack from the Boko Haram sect.
Blood stains, traders' wares, personal belongings litter the market, a sad reminder of Thursday's atrocious bombing. It understandably attracts the curious, people who want to have a look at the mayhem that was let loose in the market. But curiosity at times like these can be a dangerous habit.
I think there should be awareness, because the way people gather at a scene is ridiculous, because more problems will be caused for the security agency again. Whatever things happen, which we don't pray for again, people should stay aside. Let the security operatives carry out their function effectively and efficiently.
Governor Umar Jibril, who only just assumed office, this certainly cannot be the welcome package that he expects. He, however, resolves to re-strategize the security network in the state.
First of all, I want to condole with all our people that the issue that happened to them, and I want to also console all Adamawa citizens, and pray this thing will not happen again. And as you can see, the Commission of Police here, we have so many security council meeting now in order to see how we can solve this problem.
The death toll continues to waver, while emergency officials put it at 32. Other sources say that about 45 may have died. Whether 32, 45, 1 or 2 people, the loss of human lives will always bring sorrow. A concerted effort of government, communities and public-spirited individuals is needed in order to bring these killings to an end.
Well, speaking about them, public-spirited people have responded to an appeal by the Federal Medical Center in Yola to donate blood to victims of the bomb blast which took place in Yola, Adamawa State yesterday. The camp coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency in the state, Mr. Saad Bello, confirms that the death toll in the attack stands at 32, while about 40 people are injured and they are receiving treatment. And we spoke to him earlier on.
The figure is 32. Deaths were recorded, and that was exactly what we had yesterday, and also that has been maintained up to today. And we have about 40 of them still in the hospital, and they are responding very well. They are both in the Federal Medical Center here in Yola and the Yola Specialist Hospital. And the very few that sustained minor injuries were treated and discharged yesterday. The challenges can be enormous. One, there is a new phenomenon entirely in the environment, more especially within the state, and people are not used to all these situations, and it looks it's so terrible and it's horrifying for you to wake up and see people being put to pieces in such a large number of lives lost due to someone else's carelessness. So that is actually most of the challenges, and thank God there has been prompt response from all the the humanitarian workers within that are existing in the state. People responded promptly. A lot of, in fact, most of the patients had the required blood donations as of yesterday. And for those of them that were overbled this morning, other well-meaning citizens went and willingly donated. So that is the other place that I cannot say is a challenge, but is a prompt response by all those involved.
That's the camp coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency, Mr. Saad Bello, speaking to us earlier on. In the meantime, the military says that it's repelled an attack by terrorists in Shettimaru, Borno State. A statement issued by the Director, Defense Information, Major General Chris Olukolade, says 2 suicide bombers who led the attack were killed in the process. General Olukolade adds that over 12 rifles and 1 machine gun were seized from the attackers, including rocket-propelled grenades and bombs. According to the statement, the military is still conducting a mop-up operation while hunting for the terrorists who are on the run. It also says that the offensive operations in Sambisa and other forest areas continue with intelligence activities, aerial surveillance, and highly coordinated air bombardment. In the meantime, the United Nations is asking the federal government to investigate reports of horrifying crimes by Boko Haram rebels and alleged abuses by the military. The spokesperson for the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Mr. Rupert Colville, says President Muhammadu Buhari should look into the accusations to establish whether the perpetrators are government officials or not.
The High Commissioner will be urging the new administration of the Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari to take urgent measures to bring to justice perpetrators of human rights violations and abuses, whether non-state or state actors. He's also calling on the authorities to ensure that counterinsurgency operations do not result in making the human rights devastation in the northeast of the country even worse.
Well, Nigeria's military appears not only to be defending the nation's territorial sovereignty, but also defending their reputation in the face of the latest accusations from Amnesty International on extrajudicial killing. Some lawmakers who spoke to Channels Television had mixed reactions to the report. While some supported the call for a probe of senior military officers indicted in the report, others pleaded for understanding in view of the unconventional nature of the operations.
The military have come under several criticisms for the manner in which security operations have been executed in the Northeast. The criticisms have been spearheaded by international human rights group Amnesty International. Unlike in the past, the latest report named senior military officers who are accused of violating human rights. Federal lawmakers believe that the military is faced with an unconventional war in the Northeast.
It's a fragile balancing act between protecting the country, trying the insurgents, as well as sticking with their human rights record. So I think it is very fragile, but like I said, let me reiterate that the Nigerian government, I'm sure, will protect the rights of its citizens, even as we protect the territory that is Nigeria.
However, there are lawmakers who have insisted that the report of the group should not be dismissed.
There are some areas where some people have been killed, maimed or otherwise, and I think the best thing is to investigate and find out. If they are found to be free, then they'll be freed. Otherwise, they'll be punished.
That report is fact-finding. You have to study it, you have to see where we're coming from, what lessons do we learn from it, and to me that is is not apportioning the blame. This thing will come again maybe in another, life goes on. So we should learn the lesson and then know how to engage these rogue personnel whenever they decide to come up.
President Muhammadu Buhari pledged to ensure respect for human rights in the fight against the insurgents, a position that he has further strengthened by promising to study the Amnesty International report.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria Customs Service has donated relief materials comprising food and sanitary ware to the internally displaced persons in the Northeast. The Deputy Controller of Customs in charge of enforcement, Mr. Musa Tahir, who delivered the items in Yola, said the gesture was part of efforts by the Customs Service to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians who've been affected by the insurgency. Mr. Tahir was, however, optimistic that the security challenge in the country will soon be surmounted.
These are the many faces of thousands of Nigerians displaced as a result of insurgency in the northeastern parts of the country. The young and old alike are eager to go home to reunite with families and friends. But before that, they need to be taken care of. That was the reason why top officials of the Nigeria Customs Service visited the internally displaced persons camp in Yola, Adamawa State.
Voluntary contribution that the Controller General directed that all officers and men of the Nigerian Customs Service should voluntarily donate in this just cause. And all the things that you see there are voluntary donations from the Nigerian officers and men of the Nigerian Customs Service, and part of it is from our officers under the aegis of the COWA, Custom Officers' Wives. I told them that we feel their pain, we're not happy that they're here, but we pray that very soon this thing will end and they will go back to their homes.
Besides catering to their immediate needs, some of the displaced persons have acquired skills at the camp, but many of them want to return home.
They taught many of us how to do tailoring and how to do the barbing and how any other hand business, how to do even kunuzaki. They taught the women how to do kunuzaki and how to fry akara. Not unless you get much money before you can start business. Even by little, you can do it and increase much.
The head of service of the Adamawa state government was on hand to receive the materials donated. He is full of appreciation and called for the support of all Nigerians to provide succor for these displaced people.
Honestly, the fact that this thing comes from the hearts of the officers and men of the Nigerian Customs, we also receive it heart to our very much to our heart as something that has really helped us to reduce the type of the demand that is on the government and people of Adamawa State for the sustenance of these camps.
While the number of persons in some internally displaced camps is said to have reduced, these Nigerians are calling on the new government to tackle the security challenges head-on.
In part two, after the break, the federal government and oil marketers agreed to put an end to Nigeria's fuel scarcity by June the 13th. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.